65 points back in third in the point standings. Ron Hornaday looking for another championship in this series. The problem is he's 170 points back. And we mentioned, when will his first win come? This is the furthest he's ever been in a season before he's got that first win of the season. Completed 76 laps on our 77th lap. There's a Ron Hornaday fan.
Wow,
and that's a really big fan, by the way.
I'm glad he didn't win more in 09. I don't know where we would have. Where are we going with that?
He's on pit road right now, that 33 truck of Ron Hornaday.
Hey, Phil, they are going to put the hood up and put some rounds in the front springs here. Hornaday saying he is bottoming out so terribly. And they're also going to work on the left rear shock. Going to put 3 or 4 clicks in there. You see the crew members putting some rounds of wedge to raise the front up. That'll get the splitter up off the racetrack and hopefully help Hornaday get through the center of the corner.
You know, the truck's about 9th on back. Kenny Schrader stayed on the track, but from about 9th on back, all came to pit road to work on their trucks. Got to get these things tuned up. We talked about Chris Eggleston. He took a wave around earlier, Phil. We thought it didn't work out for him, but he ended up getting the lucky dog because of the track position that he got out of it. So the Aaron's lucky dog to Chris Eggleston, his wave around seemed to work out okay for him.
Absolutely.
Well, the field will bunch back up again. Can anyone get by Austin Dillon? That is the question of the day from Iowa. Green flag coming out at Iowa Speedway. Austin Dillon. Here comes Todd Bodine battling for second and trying to take the lead away from the 3.
I think Austin Dillon wants to lead all these laps.
Austin Dillon, he saw what Mike Skinner has done before in this truck. He wants to duplicate that. How about the battle now for the 4th position?
How about the battle for 2nd position? Where'd Johnny Sauter come from?
Johnny Sauter up there. Now they're going to make it 3 wide for 2nd. Sauter in the middle. Brian Eichler on the inside in the 18. Now to the outside, the 88 of Matt Kraft, and Todd Bodine just in front of this group.
Ooh, almost contact between Sauter and the 13 and Eichler in the 18. Here's James Busher. The 31's going to join the crowd.
How hard are these guys battling here? We're not even halfway yet. They're sideways all over each other.
I love double file restart.
Oh, I do too. I love the passion these guys have. Did you see Sauter? He was just trying to gain a spot dead sideways off turn 2, running 150 miles an hour.
Look, Austin Dillon already checking out on this group. He's got about a 2nd lead over Todd Bodine, Matt Kraft, and Johnny Sauter, James Busher.
Do you know how good that feels, Rick, to look back in your mirror and see all that going on and you not be a part of it?
A lot better than when I got a speeding ticket and I saw the lights in the back, which we talked about earlier in the show.
Yeah, that's not
that's not the view you want to look back at.
Look at Skinner.
Eichler running up the racetrack in that 18.
That was aggressive.
Yeah.
Skinner's making a good move. We talked about him early in the race, back in the 12th, 13th spot. Led so many laps here a year ago. Looks like he's heading in a good direction now.
It looked like he was almost struggling a little bit early on, but not anymore.
Top of the hour here in Iowa. Central Standard Time, 2 o'clock. Thanks for joining us here for the Camping World Truck Series. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip with you up in the booth. Chris DeVoto, Ray Dunlap down on pit road telling all the stories that are happening. So far in this one, the big story has been the 15 of Steve Wallace and the 51 of Eric Almirola, both having right front tires go down, both getting into the wall and out of the race.
Those are team trucks like we talked about, Rick, so you got to think maybe these Goodyear tires are fine, and it could have been just a setup issue on those trucks. And like you said, Phil, possibly air pressure setting. Generally, Goodyear recommends or requires that there be an X amount of air in that right front tire so they don't get into a situation where you can lower it down. The reason why you run your tires lower is because when they're cold, they're one size, but as the air builds up in them, they grow, they get harder and stiffer and tighter, and the truck won't want to turn. So you want them as low as you can get them and have them still be safe.
And NASCAR will monitor that right front air pressure. That is the only tire that they actually will monitor up and down pit road.
The other ones, normally guys will cheat and put less air pressure in, recommended, right, on the left sides?
Well, all 4. Ideally, they will put less air pressure in all 4 tires.
Well, ideally, what you would like is for some of that air as it builds up to leak out of that tire. And that's people ask me all the time, well, why don't you just bleed air off? That's not allowed. That's another thing that's a definite no-no in NASCAR racing. So
we had a huge fine in the Cup Series for doing just that here a few weeks ago.
These teams are restricted so many different ways. People that don't know a lot lot about racing, they come up to me and say, hey, man, why don't y'all? And I stop them right there and I say, because we can't.
There's a rule book.
And we've already thought of it.
We probably covered that area.
That's how the rule book has gotten so thick, because of the guys thinking of things.
Innovative thinkers in the garage area can read the rule book and interpret it differently than others, I guess.
Kenny Schrader has a great view out of his windshield of a great battle between Greg Persley and Justin Lofton for ninth.
And Austin Dillon has a great view out of his rear view mirror.
Nothing.
Well, and looking
pretty clear out the front, too.
He's got a 2-second lead already, over a 2-second lead over Todd Bodine. This truck is handling, well, I would say is handling perfectly, because he is pulling away every time. On every restart, he pulls away to at least a 1 to 1.5 second lead. Now he's got over 2 seconds on second place.
There's that battling continuing for the 9th position.
You know, it's funny, a year
right
ago,
behind the 8th place truck of Timothy Peters.
A year ago, we saw the same thing with Mike Skinner, just getting out in front and dominating this race. The track is so competitive. There's so many different grooves. I find that ironic that one guy can get that much better than everyone and drive away. Second year we've been here. Second year we've seen this same scenario.
You know, we talk about experience on this racetrack. Obviously, this is the second time we've ever been here with the Camping World Truck Series. Austin has been here before. He's run here with East Series, the combination race, as well as running second last year in the ARCA Racing Series race. So he does have a little bit of experience at this racetrack.
Will experience pay off at Iowa Speedway? Well, you got to stick around to find out. Coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speeds brought to you by Nature Valley Granola Bars. The taste nature intended. By Damp Rid, because the key to mold control is moisture control. Control them both with Damp Rid. And by Royal Purple, the performance oil that outperforms. Next Sunday, the Rolex Sports Car Series thunders into New Jersey to continue an explosive season of racing. Here, the unpredictable weather and the twisting and turning 2.25 mile track are sure to keep the action fast and tension high. Don't miss the Rolex Sports Car Series from New Jersey next Sunday live 1 p.m. Eastern. Right here on Speed.
Rick, would you like to focus in on the battle for second, or perhaps the one for 7th and 8th and 9th and 10th? These people are all over each other.
It's hard to focus on any of the battles because they're all over the racetrack. Like you mentioned, the battle for second. Crafton looking to the inside of Todd Bodine.
Well, I really wondered that time if Matt Crafton was going to use all the racetrack, because he squirted around that lap truck and looked like he had a bit of an advantage over Todd. Did not take that spot, did not force the issue, and now he has to contend with his teammate, Johnny Sauter.
He wants
going to go to the bottom.
He wants to talk to Todd Bodine so bad. It's like, Todd, why not? Why not? I'm just running you down. I'm all over you. I need this spot. Give me the spot. Todd says, I'm second and I'm staying here. And Johnny Sauter takes third away.
Yeah, Mike Skinner, take a look at, we're riding along with him, and you see Sauter just in front of him, but what an improvement on that truck since the last stop.
Yeah, undoubtedly, Stacey Johnson made some great changes to that truck, and he is on it now, battling Johnny Sauter right now for the 4th spot.
I love that. You know, I love the fact that he was able to adjust. So we talked about it early, that he was in 12th, but that didn't mean he wasn't going to be able to win this race. They made serious improvements to that truck without using a whole lot of pit strategy to do it. Just made the truck better.
Krista Voda caught up with the teammate of Steve Wallace, also having a right front tire go down. That's Eric Almirola. Krista?
That's right, Rick, in the garage with Eric Almirola right now. Just a few laps ago, we were talking to your teammate about his blown tire. He said he thought he ran over something, but it's not usually a coincidence that 2 teammates are in the garage with the same issue. Was it the setup?
I guess so. I mean, it obviously looks like that. You know, we didn't think we were that aggressive on our cambers in practice yesterday. We looked at it, you know, really, really good. And I don't know. It's just, these are the kind of days we were trying to hope to avoid. You know, we weren't looking for this for our Graceway Pharmaceuticals Toyota Tundra. We had a really good truck, we felt like, and we needed to make a few adjustments on pit stops to get it better to where we could go up there and race for the lead. But I felt like we were definitely a 2nd or 3rd place truck. And, man, to come out of here with a 20-something or 30-something place finish is not what we were looking for. So it hurts. It really hurts. But we'll go get them at Gateway.
All right, thanks. I know, very disappointed Eric Almirola, and it looks like we're going to have another disappointed Toyota driver out on the track right now.
Yeah, Krista, and this is the 3rd place man in the points race. Timothy Peters, who came into here 165 points back from Todd Bodine, also having problems. So we just heard from Eric Almirola out of the race. Timothy Peters now potentially a blown motor, bringing out the third caution from Iowa. That opens the door for Ron Hornaday again.
These motors don't usually break. I mean, they're so reliable. So it'll be interesting to see what happened to that 17 truck. Eric Almirola didn't know that